The views are out of this world.
This thing is unbelievable. It sounds incredible.
Golly gee, everybody, look at that.
When you grow up, live like a good boy ought to. And your mama takes a shot of good bear, son. Something different. All the girls that seem to like you. 'Cause you're handsome, like to talk and a whole lot of fun. But now your girl is...
We're now in our second century of motoring, which means there is so much history to soak up, and that's why we love finding cool motoring museums just like this one.
Very cool. This is The Motorist, a vintage motoring museum situated in the main street of Gembrook. It was originally a country garage of the 1950s, servicing the mainly agricultural and timber felling area at the time. It was established as a museum in 1995 to coincide with the return of Puffing Billy Tourist Railway to Gembrook after this stretch of line was closed due to a landslide. The museum is a small private collection of vintage and classic cars, commercial vehicles, motorcycles, and associated memorabilia presented in a rustic but charming manner. Take a seat and soak up some racing, have a look at the beautiful vintage cars, or flick through some old magazines. And look at what I've found. Does this give you a hint as to what manufacturer I'll be piloting in this episode?
One of the things that we get asked the most when it comes to electric vehicles is about the life of their batteries. More specifically, what happens to them after 10 years or so of driving. Does this new technology end up in museums? Do they get thrown away or end up on another path? To answer this question, we're going to wind the EV clock back in time with the Nissan Leaf. No, not with this one, with this one.
Launched in Japan in 2010 and Australia in 2012, the first generation Nissan Leaf was one of the first mainstream modern electric cars.
It's hard to believe that this car is already over 10 years old, 11 years to be exact. And to give you some tech context, Netflix launched back in 2015. So even though it is over a decade old, this little Nissan is still plenty of fun. I mean, it is no hot rod, but there's still plenty of go when you need it, and it is quite smooth. Now, looking at the interior, you can certainly tell that it is getting on. I mean, the technology has certainly aged a bit, but whoever owns this car has kept it in really good nick, even though it is very light in colour. And they've used these woolly covers for the seats. I can't say they look very funky, but yes, it is certainly dating, and you'll get to see what the new interior looks like very soon. But what about the battery? Well, this car has clocked up 90,000 kilometres, but in terms of its capacity, sure, it's degraded over time, but it still has about 75 to 80% of battery capacity left. Now, that might or might not be enough for another 10 years, but just in case it isn't, we're going to step into the present and show you life after this Leaf.
Take me to
is the 2023 Nissan Leaf, and just like its predecessor, it's a fully electric hatchback. And just in case you're wondering, yes, it is plenty of fun to drive, especially on a road like this one.
Let me tell you more about the road trip we're about to embark on. As you've seen, it all starts in Gembrook, a beautiful little town in the foothills of the Dandenong Ranges, just outside of Melbourne. We'll then head deep into the forest, past Launching Place, before strapping in for an impressive stint, tackling Donna Buang Road. We'll then head to our final stop at Warburton, a place famous for its beautiful natural attractions, picturesque vantage points, and an array of charming wineries and vineyards. No matter what generation, you'll surely recognise a Nissan Leaf out on the road by now. They're quirky, with plenty of character and presence. Over the years, they've received some styling tweaks, and perhaps the greatest standout on the facelifted car is the 15-spoke black dish rims.
Here's a quick lesson in Leaf 101 from EV University. There are two variants available, a Leaf with a 40 kilowatt hour battery, and then this one here, which is the E+, packed with a 60 kilowatt hour battery.
The bigger battery gives the E+ a claimed range of 385 kilometres, and the single electric motor offers 160 kilowatts of power through the front wheels. For some interesting trivia, the new battery in the Leaf E+ is only a little bit thicker than the one in the 10-year-old Leaf, but it has 2.5 times the energy density and provides 3 times the range. If battery technology keeps moving at the same rate, the 2030 Leaf will be able to drive further than Melbourne to Sydney on a single charge. Now, when the older Leaf's battery is no longer able to provide enough range for a car, Nissan has developed a process where the car's batteries can be recycled to become storage banks for use in commercial or industrial energy solutions. Nissan is even using these at their factory near Melbourne, where the batteries from 9 first-generation Leafs are part of their facility that creates components used in every new Nissan Leaf around the world.
The takeaway from this though is that you have a good 10 years worth of battery life on your EV before you even need to think about replacement. And let's think about it, with technology evolving, that battery in 10 years time will be even better than the one that you have now. Plus that old battery may even go on to live another life.
Help, I have done it again. I have been here many times before, hurt myself again today. And the worst part is there's no one else to blame. Be my friend, hold me, wrap me up.
Fun fact, the name Gembrook came from the gems found in creeks and waterways in the surrounding areas. It really is a gem, and hopefully we see both while on this journey.
Warm me up and breathe me. Ouch, I have lost myself again.
In keeping with the leafy theme, we're actually heading deep into the forest, and this trip is actually quite a short one, but we're going to prove that you don't really need to go on a long route to enjoy a fun road trip. Also, I think the best part about this is that we're not far at all from the CBD. In fact, we're only about an hour's drive from Melbourne.
After getting acquainted with the Nissan Leaf, we trekked north, stopping off at Shiprock Falls in Hoddles Creek, which offers historical sites, picnic and camping grounds, and has plenty of bushwalking tracks to explore. From here, it's a short drive to the quaint town of Launching Place, believed to be named after the place on the Yarra River, where freshly cut logs were launched into the river to be milled in Melbourne. But that was enough sightseeing for the moment, as the next road we're being told about is a challenging road that I must tackle. Donaboang Road is a meandering run through the forest, and it's rather challenging. Lots of tight twists and demanding hairpins. Take them with caution though, as these stretches of tarmac are rather narrow.
The thing about this little Nissan is that it drives just as you want it and you expect it to as an urban runabout. But it's done really well and handled everything out here on these really tricky and exceptional driving roads.
The great thing is that it has very little vibration, it's obviously incredibly silent, and it has exceptional throttle response, as you can expect with any electric car. The cabin does feel quite cosy. I mean, it's not a luxury car, but it does have some nice amenities, like in the rear, they get seat heating, which you don't always expect for a price range like this. One thing that I need to call out in this car, in the old Nissan, it had an electric handbrake, but in this one I'm having to use a foot brake, which I think is quite odd. When was the last time you had to use one of those? It's actually just a little bit frustrating having to get in the car, because sometimes I often forget. After an entertaining drive through Mount Donaboang, we thought we'd continue down the road of, well, adventure, so we've got something for the adrenaline junkies. The quaint township of Warburton sits on the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people. A former gold mine and timber town, it's framed by rivers and creeks, mountains and rainforests, and offers some of the most magical scenery. It's also home to the Warburton Adventure Company. If you're eager for a sense of adventure, or if you're a local wanting to explore more of what's on your doorstep, then this is for you. There's an abundance of activities to choose from, including river sledding, abseiling, mountain biking, and caving.
So quite literally roped into yet another activity, which seems to be a theme for me here at Drive. But I'm at 7 Acre Rock, and I think it's going to be worth it, because have a look at this view. If you haven't guessed already, I am going to be abseiling. I've never done it before, and as a beginner, I am going to be hopefully conquering an 18-metre abseil. So wish me luck, because it is quite literally all the way downhill from here.
Weight on this, so that should be taut. So step back on it. The see now tension, that's
Okay.
as soon as you have no tension there, that's when you'll feel that little flutter. So you just want to always keep your weight on the rope, right hand behind your butt. And then now what I want you to do is you're just going to slowly step back whilst letting that rope slide through that hand. That's it. How's that feel?
Weird, yeah.
Yep. Use your body as friction, not you're sort of clenching it with your hand at the
Okay,
moment. Can you
okay.
feel it wearing on your hand?
Yeah.
Yeah. So stand up for us, just relax. And then move that hand further around, and then, yeah, literally use your body as the friction point here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Feet nice and wide apart. So that's what you're going to slowly do. Let's keep stepping back.
Feels funny.
Oh, it's not every day we're hanging off the cliff.
Shout to all my boss boys. Shout to all my boss boys. We rowdy. Shout to all my boss boys. Shout to all my boss boys. We rowdy. Shout to all my boss boys. Shout to all my boss boys. We rowdy. Shout to all my boss boys. Shout to all my boss boys. When you're ready, bass. When you're ready.
Okay, so much easier than I thought. A little shaky to begin with, and hot tip, if you're afraid of heights, this may not be an activity for you. But I'll give anything a go. And a big thank you to Sam for a cracking afternoon.
They paved paradise and put up a parking lot with a pink hotel, a boutique, and a swinging hot spot. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? They paved paradise and put up a parking lot. They took all the trees and put them in a tree museum. And charge the people $1 and a half to see them. No, 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 don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? You paved paradise and put up a parking lot.
So let's talk about this drive. I mean, there's something beautiful, I know, about driving along coastal roads and seeing those ocean views. But let me just say, driving through the forest, there's something very calming about it. And also, if you do want to take it up a notch, it is very exhilarating. There are twists and turns everywhere and lots of hill climbs and descents as well. I have to say that this really is a scintillating drive through a beautiful part of Victoria. Well, I can't say that I've ever watched the sunset while hanging off the side of a cliff, but I honestly couldn't have imagined a better way to have finished this road trip. I think we've shown that this region is a must visit, and also I think that we've certainly proved that you don't have to venture too far from the city or map out too long a road trip to enjoy an ultimate journey.
We hit the road from Melbourne, but the journey really kicked off in Gembrook, just over an hour's drive from the CBD. It was a drive north to Launching Place, before buckling up for a scintillating run along Donabuang Road. The final stop was fun-filled as we visited the beautiful and must-see town of Warburton. For more information on pricing and specifications, head to drive.com.au. Plus, get all the details for this drive by scanning the QR code on your screen or visiting us online. Next week on the show, I'm in a brand new stylish all-electric Volvo. The region I'm heading to is stunning, and even though the weather isn't warm, the final destination is steamy. That's next week on Drive.